All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be breaking down the Thursday night showdown slate between the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. Let's go ahead and get into it. So guys, Lamar Jackson is expected back in this game. So with that, we are seeing a pretty high game total, 50.5 total points in this game. And we also are going to see that the Baltimore Ravens are going to be 7.5 point favorites in this game. To me, that instantly tells us kind of the game script that we should be expecting in this game. It should end up being a Derrick Henry type of game here. And so I think at his price tag, he's actually going to be one of the better captain options that we are getting on this slate. The worry with him, as always, is going to be the amount of snaps that he's going to play, but it doesn't really matter because when he's on the field, we know he's going to get his rushing opportunities. Now, over the last couple of games, we have seen that the Ravens did commit to the run a bunch, basically because they need to, due to their kind of poor quarterback play, and that ended up working out for them, especially in the last game. Should say it ended up working out for Derrick Henry against the Rams there, where he went for 122 yards. But this is obviously going to be a great matchup here against the Miami Dolphins, a matchup that we want to target unless your name is Bijan Robinson and he chalks the full main slate. But anyways, Derrick Henry, guys, I do think he's getting a healthy workload, and I do think he ends up being one of the better captain plays on the slate. You can make logical pivots off of him. Like, you know, if you're probably not playing him in the captain side, you're probably getting to Lamar Jackson. And so let's go ahead and talk about Lamar Jackson as a play. So it is going to be his first game back, obviously, from injury. That is going to be a bit of a concern for us, but I don't think we're all too concerned just due to the matchup. It is going to be a strong matchup for him. So I do think we want to be targeting him as well. This is going to be the difficult part about this slate is we do have a lot of premium players to pay up for. And then other than that, we're not getting that great of values. And I do just want to call it the projections here that we are getting right now, guys. So Lamar Jackson is projected to be the best play, then Devon Achane, and then Derrick Henry. What's interesting is that we look at Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, and then Tua Tagovailoa. They're all kind of grouped together, right? And so that's going to make this slate interesting in regards to lineup construction, especially for lineups that are generated via a lineup builder, which we'll do at the end of this video. And so you could end up thinking about getting to Zay Flowers if you want. He does draw a more difficult matchup here going against Miami, just because it's mostly a matchup that you try to run the football against. So like Rashad Bateman, he's nothing more than a shoulder shrug play for me. Sure, he can catch the touchdown. That's exactly how I feel about Mark Andrews as well. Basically, we need a touchdown out of him for him to hit value. And then same thing for Isaiah Likely, although he's pretty cheap. I don't mind getting to some of the bets for him, but overall, he's going to be someone that you're mostly playing to score a touchdown. I am pretty shocked at the pricing that we are getting here for Keaton Mitchell. So guys, if this game ends up being a bit of a blowout, I do think we could see Keaton Mitchell get some work. He did pop a big play in that game. He ended up getting 4 carries for 43 yards, as we can see. I do wonder if that's going to lead to him getting more snaps potentially over Justice Hill, especially because Justice Hill is a good third down running back. We know that. He's someone that I do think will be in play on this slate as well. But I think if you're going to give another running back carries, it will be Keaton Mitchell, who obviously got 4 carries to Justice Hill's 1. And it is worth calling out that with Keaton Mitchell, those snaps were not in garbage time. He had a non-garbage time role for the first time all season for him, which is obviously good. Tyler Loop going to be in play. Kicker, obviously, we're going to be targeting them. And then from there, it is a bit of a toss-up. I don't think we really need to get to anyone else. And so for Miami, guys, just looking at the pricing, it is more difficult to get to their players because of the pricing that we are getting. I will say I don't mind the idea of getting to Malik Washington, who we know is going to have a decent floor just because of the manufactured touches that he gets at the line of scrimmage. I ended up with 5 targets last week, guys, 4 receptions. Okay, that's what you're going to notice is that he gets a lot of receptions and gets a lot of catchable passes because, well, let's sum it up this way. He had 18 air yards last week while getting 5 targets. I mean, that is pretty darn crazy. So he should have a high floor if we are searching for value. We like that. He did end up scoring his first NFL touchdown as well last week. This is a matchup, though, to target the Baltimore Ravens via the passing game. And so I do really like Jalen Waddle, and I do really like Tua Tagovailoa. Jalen Waddle has been pretty darn good, minus this game against Cleveland, which is a game we know to kind of avoid. He's been very, very good since Tyreek Hill has been out, and now you also have Darren Waller out. So I expect Jalen Waddle to end up being a very key play for us on this slate. Now, if we are playing those 2 passing catchers, that's obviously going to leave us capped with what we can do roster construction wise. So that's where I'm having a tough time getting to Derrick Henry as a captain. And that's where I'm kind of playing him in the flex. Maybe we can get to Waddle as the captain instead. But let's talk about Devon Achane and also Tua Tagovailoa. So Devon Achane, if you look at the prop lines that we're getting for him, I'll pull up his rush yards here for you guys. He's at 58.5 rush yards. This is on Prize Picks, underdog 56.5. That's a little bit shocking to me, given the fact that the Ravens have really struggled to stop opponents and running backs in the rushing game. And so if we are playing Devon Achane, which I obviously think we should be doing because he's just been a stud, we're really hoping that continues, that good matchup against the Ravens via the rushing game ends up being a spot where Devon Achane is just going off. That being said, Tua Tagovailoa is a very interesting play as well. He has not really thrown the football yardage-wise all that much. We see 2 games where he's done well, if you will, 315 against New England, and then against Carolina, 256. Now, the thing that stands out to me in regards to his schedule is that it has been a more difficult schedule for opposing quarterbacks. This is going to be his best matchup of the year by far, and he's coming off of his best game of the year by far against Atlanta, a team that should have been able to really handle him pretty well, because I don't know if you guys saw the clip of him, like Tua's eye was like swollen, and he made it like a statement about how he wasn't able to see his receivers in the previous game, and then that happened. It was just like, you can't make this stuff up. And then he goes out and has his best game. You also can't make that stuff up. It's crazy against a team where quarterbacks have really struggled. So crazy stuff there. Obviously for playing Tua, I do think you want to play both Jalen Waddle and Malik Washington. I think that ends up being a good route to go. But with that, guys, we do need to find some value on the slate, and that is where some of these other Miami Dolphins players are going to come into play. So Westbrook-Ikhine is someone that did get a lot of snaps in the last game, 65% of the snaps. He has been the receiver number 2 in replace of, I guess, Tyreek Hill. Okay, so he's actually been playing, on average, guys, this season, 52% of the snaps, but since week 5, 71%, 63%, 76%, and 56% of the snaps. So that role should continue for him. The issue is he hasn't really been getting that many targets and or air yards. So he's someone I don't think we need to play. Another value that I don't mind, given the game script that we are projected to get, is going to be Tanner Conner, the tight end, who is much more of a pass-catching tight end. Now, don't be surprised if Greg Dulcich gets a little bit of work in this game here as well. Greg Dulcich, recently signed by them, ended up getting 28% of the snaps, 32% route share, which was tied with Tanner Conner. And so I don't mind the idea of doing a deep flyer on one of those 2 tight ends if we need to, especially if we're trying to pay up for the studs. Then I also need to call out Cedric Wilson. Cedric Wilson, I'm getting 32% of the snaps as well. Now, I know the game was a blowout, and that's probably part of the reason as to why these players got some work. Now, Cedric Wilson has been kind of interesting in regards to his playing time because that was the first game in which he actually played last week. So just make sure he's active is kind of the summary there. And just worth calling out, guys, if D. Estridge is out, that'd be the reason as to why Cedric Wilson is active. Okay, if Estridge is active in this game, it's actually not a terrible idea to get to him as well. In week 6, guys, he saw 20% of the snaps. We see 1 target there, and then in week 7, 29% of the snaps, 2 targets in that game, one big play. Obviously, they'd be playing from behind, and so that would increase his likelihood to get some targets. Again, we are getting enough punt plays here for the Miami Dolphins to be able to make some interesting lineups work. And so, guys, this is kind of the problem with this slate. I'm trying to make a very strong but logical build, and we can't necessarily do that. So this is a slate where we are probably going to have to fade, a top play or 2, which, albeit for GPP purposes, oh well, right? But for cash purposes, for main slate builds, for 20 entry max type of contest, it is definitely a more difficult slate. And so here's kind of a different way to go about making a build. We can get to both kickers, and then we're still getting to Lamar Jackson. We're still getting to Jalen Waddle, which, again, I like those plays. Derrick Henry and the captain. Greg Dulcich punt. Again, we're okay with that. It's just it is more difficult to make, very strong builds then. And so, guys, I did go ahead and just run 150 lineups just to see kind of what the data was telling us is going to be the best approach to go with here with the lineup builder. Did check off, include only players with not 0 projected points, obviously, and then force a QB stack with a pass catcher. And then I did raise up the lineup salary range to $900 left over. And so the top lineup that we are getting, Lamar Jackson, Devon Achane, Zay Flowers, Tyler Loop, Justice Hill, Isaiah Likely. Not a terrible build as a whole. I kind of like this one for GPPs, actually. Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, Devon Achane, Tyler Loop, Malik Washington. So we're still getting to Washington there. And then Isaiah Likely. If we look at the top projected lineup that we can be on, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, Achane, Loop, Patterson, Isaiah Likely, also a pretty good build. And so what I'm seeing here is that this price tier range with Isaiah Likely, as I showed you guys, with the lineup that I made for you guys, it is going along with basically that exact same approach. And so I do think that ends up being a unique lineup process to go through. Now, personally, I do want to see like more Jalen Waddles popping up in the captain spot. So I'm going to set his min a little bit higher in the captain spot, maybe Tua as well. We are going to stack Tua with Jalen Waddle. But overall, I think you guys get a good sense of what this slate is looking like for Thursday Night Football. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy the video, leave a like on the video. If you guys would like access to any of the tools that you saw throughout this video, head on over to 9to5sports.com. We have fantasy golf tools, NFL DFS tools, prop betting tools, basketball tools, all available for a low monthly cost. You guys can get access to that by checking out the pricings and plans tab. Again, everything available for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. That's going to do it, guys. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys being here. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.